Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have another question from a newsforthesoul.com listener.
All right.
If we chose to be here, what the heck were we thinking?
You were thinking, how exciting.
Well, I mean, what were the attributes that made this challenging existence seem like a good idea?
Let me give you a rough analogy. Perhaps not all the males will be able to relate to this, but we'll think of others in a minute. But the females, maybe, will relate to this. Many of you know that when females have babies, sometimes there's a lot of physical pain. And at a certain point, you may say, I'll never go through that again. A year later, oh, I want to have another child. Have you forgotten what it was like? I guess so. You must remember that when you, in a sense, go into spirit, it's like waking up from a dream. And when it feels like your physical reality was a dream, it's not a big deal for a spirit to say, that was interesting, let's do that again. Because from the perspective of the spirit, that's who you actually are, and this was just a dream. It was just an interesting experience. It doesn't carry a lot more weight than that. So the idea really is that even though we know what you experience in this life, the idea is to learn that this life can actually become more like the spirit experience, and over the course of many generations, that's what you're doing, is creating this reality to be more like the vibration of your true natural self and create heaven on earth. And therefore you understand that there is great impact in this, there is great experience in this, there is great love in this, there is great strength in this. Remember that there are many things going on that connect to the experience you are all having on earth that are not just relegated to your planet alone, to your reality alone. As we have often talked about, there are many civilizations that are going through their own transitions. Many of them are not necessarily as strongly invested in the exploration of darkness and negativity as Earth has been. But the point is that if your people can go through the idea of finding light through the experience of extreme dark, if you can do that, then anything is possible. And those other civilizations can learn from you that if you can do it, they can do it. And you are great teachers in that context. And believe me, when you are in spirit and when you see what effect that has and how loving an act it is for you to experience what you have experienced, you often simply come from the compassion and the unconditional love of creation in thus saying, I will do that again. Now, that's not always the reason. There are sometimes as many reasons as there are individuals. Nevertheless, that's a profound one. It's a strong one. It's one that many of you have chosen. And remember, you all knew before you chose these lives that this was going to be an age of great transformation on your planet. Many of you just couldn't resist going along for the ride. You say, I want to be there right at that time. That's so exciting. It's so interesting. Yeah, I know it'll be a little bumpy. But the interest, the excitement, the outcome will make it worthwhile. You all gave yourselves that guarantee, even though your physical minds don't always remember. This is why it's so important to form these dialogues now and relationships with the higher mind, because the higher mind does know that it's all working out. The only reason it seems not to be is because the physical mind is offering resistance to its natural self. But the less resistance it offers, the more fun the ride will be. Thank you.
Bashar, I think before you've described there's a difference in terms of having an experience when you're a physical being versus if you're in spirit.
Yes?
Could you explain that difference?
Well, there are many different kinds of differences, but again, one is the idea that in spirit, you know that space and time are illusions and manifestations are instantaneous. In a sense, manifestations are also instantaneous in physical reality, but you can create an instantaneous manifestation to seem very similar to the last manifestation. And so it may seem as if manifestation is not instantaneous. But the idea is that gives you the opportunity in physical reality to experience what you call the process of creation. And that gives you a richer, more detailed understanding of the experience than you can have in spirit. And that's one of the main differences. You actually get to see, feel, taste, touch, smell, hear creation happening instead of just having it happen.
So it's an appreciation class, huh?
It is a deep appreciation class, and it is no accident in your language that you have associated that term with the idea of money. Because the notion is, the more you appreciate yourself, the more you know what you're truly worth. And that's an economy that will never falter.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Bashar.
Hey, Bashar.
And you, good day.
How would I do things that our society would deem impossible? But that, for example, how could I treat this solid floor as like a liquid and just swim through it, or
by shifting your frequency to be out of phase with it? Now, the point is that most of you can do it, but most of you simply will never choose to do that because it simply doesn't actually serve a real applicable purpose in your life. But some of you will. If that is representative of your true passion, then you can allow yourself to experience that. And you can go through whatever process or attract to yourself whatever process is necessary to allow you to accomplish that. There are people on your planet that can do such things. Most of them exist in what you call indigenous societies on your planet and are usually referred to as holy people or shamans. And you can perhaps learn some of these things from them. But remember, it's not so much about the end result, it's about the journey. So the important thing is the journey that you will experience in learning to do that. That's more important in a sense than the doing of the thing. The doing of the thing is a badge or a reflection of the fact that you've actually experienced the journey. So. Did that help?
Yeah, that did help.
All right.
Before you talked about how like your imagination is like the filter between
the conduit.
Yeah, conduit between
higher mind and physical mind. Yes.
And that you're like you don't experience like you're experiencing your own reality and not like someone else's.
Not directly.
Not directly.
You can only experience another reality by creating a version of it in your reality out of your own consciousness.
Well, could you take out that filter, just remove it, and fully experience theirs, like complete like empathy and just completely understand what they're doing, like or see it?
First of all, recognize that empathy does not require the removal of the filter. It requires that you vibrate in synchronous harmony with their vibration.
Okay.
Then, in a sense, you will get the effect of a bridge or a link. It will seem, in a sense, to be the removal, as you say, of a filter. But what you've simply done is create an empathetic frequency that allows you to have the same thoughts, the same feelings at the same time. It allows you to have understanding. But in physical reality, no. You will have to create your interaction out of your own energy. On what you may call higher levels of oneness, then yes, there may be direct incorporation, direct inclusion of what you recognize in physical reality as more than one discrete reality vibration. May already be lumped into another reality level altogether. But by definition, physical reality, in a sense, is a compartmentalization of frequencies. So what you can do in physical reality to achieve the same effect is the empathetic locking in, like two tuning forks vibrating in harmonic resonance. And that creates the effect of the elimination of the filter, but it's not actually the elimination of the filter in the same way that may exist on higher levels of fusion of consciousness. Make sense?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yep.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, I can keep on going, right? I have another one? Okay.
I don't know, can you?
I can.
Oh, all right.
So, what was like the first society or like civilization? What, like, can you talk about it?
The first indigenous civilization?
Just first civilization ever.
You mean visiting your planet?
No, just ever. Just like first one.
Well, when you say that, we are attempting to differentiate between the idea of civilizations that were indigenous to your planet, of which there are a few, many of you know nothing about, and civilizations that may have come from elsewhere and colonized for a while and not remained. Because there is a difference between those two ideas. So, the first civilization, in a sense, that didn't necessarily remain as an indigenous civilization is often referred to in your ancient literature as the Anunnaki. The first indigenous civilization were what I suppose in your language would have to loosely be referred to as pre-Lemurian. Does that help you?
Wait, what are pre-Lemuria?
Lemuria
Yeah.
is a name that your society has given to a very ancient civilization that existed on your planet about 500,000 years ago. But there was a civilization before that. And there is no real name for them in your language, so we refer to them in your language as pre-Lemurian.
Cool.
Does this help?
Yeah.
What is the fascination you all have with that temperature?
Also, you know, for that... Huh? Okay.
Does that serve you?
Yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm good.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
The date, December 21st, 2012, for the Mayans.
The threshold crossing date, yes.
Yeah, can you explain that to me better?
Well, there are many ways to look at this, but one of the ways that we have talked about this is to recognize that it's a recognition of when the collective consciousness on your planet will have reached a critical mass and crossed the threshold, so that after that date, the energy, the collective energy of your planet will be slightly more tipped toward the positive than the negative. And from that point forward, that can start to snowball and accelerate. Now, that doesn't mean that the majority of people will be that way. It simply means the majority of the collective energy will be tipped toward the positive. Remember, positive is integrative and geometrically expansive. So it doesn't take as many positively integrated people to, in a sense, energetically outweigh billions of negatively oriented people. But the idea is that on that date, it's a representation of when you will have crossed the threshold, when the collective energy of your planet, of your consciousness, will be slightly tipped in the direction of the positive and can accelerate from there.
Are we on target for that?
I suppose you are. Well, I'll put it to you this way. If you weren't, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. Because it would serve no point.